if he's even
I'll tell
convicted.
you why you're wrong as this legal expert. That is wrong. And I will
He's
tell
not
you,
going to jail over
I will
this.
tell you
He's not going to jail
I
over
will tell
this.
you why you're wrong. Prosecutors are not only in the business of prosecuting crimes, we're in the business of sending out a message.
That is not humanity. This is a crazy time we're living in.
Sarah Haynes over there is making some sense. We are all too judgmental when it comes to all of these things and everything else.
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. The DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
If we don't feel comfortable saying
No, getting facts out through the media seems to be very difficult.
I feel like I just spewed some facts.
Yeah.
Yes, but
an endorsement
we need you to
from
do
you
it on your
matter.
I don't care what the laws are.
We're not going down.
Besides marching and protesting, what else do you suggest?
Well,
it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a miraculous. What did you say? She's kidding. Wait a second. She's just kidding. Don't say that. That's you don't know. They'll pick up on that and just run with it.
Worst.
She's just kidding.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all agree on that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas.
For years, The View has been pushing boundaries, stirring up drama, and making headlines. But now, it looks like the show's biggest storm has finally hit. With over 30 lawsuits piling up, the legal troubles are getting serious. And rumor has it, Donald Trump himself is stepping in to shut it down once and for all. Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts have had a long run of throwing out accusations without facing real consequences. But that might be changing. Trump, known for never backing down from a fight, is reportedly making moves to end The View for good. Could this really be the final chapter in the show's controversial history? Let's break it all down.
This case is not taking Donald Trump down, and I say that for a couple reasons.
How do you know that?
There was, just real quick, there was no conspiracy charge, which a lot of folks were looking to see if there was.
That was a harder charge to prove.
The felony charges, the max sentence is 4 years, but this is a first-time offender. It's a nonviolent crime. It's a Class C felony. Every legal expert I've talked to has said most likely a fine and probation if he's even convicted.
I'll tell you why you're wrong as this legal expert. That is wrong. And I will
He's
tell
not
you,
going to jail over
I will
this.
tell you,
He's not going to jail
I
over
will tell
this.
you why you're wrong. Prosecutors are not only in the business of prosecuting crimes, we're in the business of sending out a message.
What's interesting is she's saying that you should prosecute to send a message. Now that's interesting because now I would say, and I think most people who believe in equality under the law, believe that you should be prosecuting based on the laws that are on the books. So if you, I don't know, let's say murder somebody, everyone who murders somebody should be treated equally under the law. And you should have to prove that they did it.
You know, I just found a picture on my photo thing.
The White House
the White House Correspondents'
That's it. I was at the Correspondents' Dinner, and I posed with Lara Trump and Eric Trump. I saw the picture, and I thought, I have to go into rehab now.
You guys, I hate this. I hate the crime that we live in.
This is before he became president. It was the Correspondents' Dinner.
Yeah, but
Obama
regardless, this
was
is
in charge.
To me, like, I do not, that when I like people, whether it's on a like or my friends and family, that is not an endorsement of everything they've said, everything they've done. Typically, when you're posing for a picture or you're doing something, let's let that go back to the good old days when that's all it was. I hate this cancel by association. If you've had a picture in your 45-year-old life with someone that said this and then you're an awful human being, that is not humanity. This is a crazy time we're living in.
Sarah Haynes over there is making some sense. We are all too judgmental when it comes to all of these things and everything else.
She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she does.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly. That's why I say allegedly.
Yes, COVID is back if you want it to be back in your life. Whoopi's got the COVID. She sent in a pre-recorded message to the ladies of The View.
I am not at Burning Man. I am not still in Italy. I have... The Holocaust isn't about race.
Her co-host seemed taken aback.
No, it's not about
maybe
race.
ethnicity.
No, it's about
a different
race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
She also characterized the slaughter of 6 million Jews like this.
Donald Trump is trying to do is he's trying to expand the powers of the executive branch. We all know, or we should know in this country, that there are 3 co-equal branches of government. You got
Who are they, Sonny?
Since its debut in 1997, The View has been no stranger to heated arguments, jaw-dropping walkouts, and moments that either leave viewers cheering or completely outraged. The show has a history of taking things too far, and at times, even making light of serious events. In one instance, the host opened an episode with a bizarrely casual tone about a major disaster, one that had taken dozens of lives. Some viewers were stunned, saying the show seemed to treat it like a joke.
We all agree that he's an existential threat to the republic, so I'm dying to understand how Democrats, despite polling that has bared this out,
Because people are like me and don't believe the poll.
And they look at a twice impeached, disgraced, 4 times indicted criminal, and I think they say, that guy may be old, but that guy's a criminal.
But if there's one name that always seems to be at the center of The View's biggest controversies, it's Whoopi Goldberg. Her outspoken nature, fiery reactions, and no-filter attitude have made her a major force on the show. Some fans love her for it, others not so much. Over the years, she's had more than a few moments where she crossed the line, and at times, it's even gotten her into real trouble. One of the biggest scandals came when ABC News suspended Goldberg for 2 weeks after she made controversial remarks about Jewish people and the Holocaust. The backlash was immediate. But instead of stepping back, it only cemented her reputation as a host who refuses to hold back no matter the consequences.
The Holocaust isn't about race.
Her co-host seemed taken aback.
No, it's not about race.
ethnicity.
Well, they consider Jews a different race.
But it's not about race. It's not about race.
What is it about?
Because it's about man's inhumanity to man.
She also characterized the slaughter of 6 million Jews like this.
This is white people doing it to white people.
Yeah.
The response was swift, a blizzard of social media posts telling her, yes, it was about race, and headlines like this. Whoopi was already scheduled to appear on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert to promote her role on the new season of Star Trek, so she seized the opportunity and explained what she meant.
Would you care to follow up? Clarify what you said this morning?
Most of the Nazis were white people, and most of the people they were attacking were white people. So to me, I'm thinking, how can you say it's about race if you are fighting each other?
You know, in the Jewish faith, Don, we have a concept called shuvah. And shuvah means redemption. It means all of us have the power to admit when we do wrong and to commit to doing better.
And it's not just her opinions that have caused waves. Some of The View's most explosive showdowns have happened when Whoopi clashed with guests. Back in 2012, conservative commentator Ann Coulter came on the show to promote her book, which claimed liberal politicians were using race issues for their own gain. At one point, Coulter boldly stated that liberals never really cared about black people.
I have a black kid I raised, Whoopi! I have a kid in my house!
That is not the
You don't
same
have to be
thing.
black to know what racism is.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do,
No,
baby.
you do not.
Yes, you do.
That set off an absolute firestorm on set. Whoopi and her co-hosts weren't having it, and things escalated fast. The debate got so heated that Whoopi's response had to be bleeped out for television audiences. Whoopi Goldberg and Sherry Shepherd weren't having it. Both were visibly upset as they fired back at Ann Coulter's bold claims. The debate went from tense to full-blown chaos, and Whoopi's reaction got so heated that the network had to censor it for TV. That moment sealed Whoopi's reputation as someone who never backs down from a fight, no matter who she's up against. Whether you love her or hate her, one thing's for sure, she's not afraid to go toe-to-toe with controversial figures, even if it means turning a discussion into an all-out verbal war. But if you thought that was intense, things escalated even further in 2022. Whoopi herself found herself at the center of yet another firestorm after making shocking comments about the Holocaust. Critics called her out for downplaying the racial aspect of the genocide, and the backlash was immediate. ABC didn't waste time. They hit her with a 2-week suspension, and people from all sides of the political spectrum slammed her remarks. Even though she later apologized, the damage was done. It became yet another controversy added to The View's growing list of headline-making moments, and not in a good way.
I don't think it's just just the age, it's the historic unpopularity. He's on par with Jimmy Carter, who was a one-term president.
And yet he's revered now. He's the GOAT. So he's the GOAT before he leaves.
But if I may just press on this, because we had Rachel Maddow on the show, who I think we all respect regardless of our political stripes, and she said Donald Trump could absolutely be reelected.
Yes.
We all agree that he's an existential threat to the republic, so I'm dying to understand how Democrats, despite polling that has bared this out...
Because people are like me and don't believe the polls.
But even without the polling, so take the polling aside, you really think that the oldest man in history is, the oldest presidential candidate in history is the best person to defeat Donald Trump?
You say, because there are a lot of people.
You really do. You don't think there's anyone who could perform better?
I think this country has a moral compass, and they look at a twice impeached, disgraced, 4 times indicted criminal, and I think they say that guy may be old, but that guy's a criminal.
Whoopi's feuds are just with guests. She's had plenty of drama with her own co-host, too. One of the biggest clashes happened in 2019 with Meghan McCain, daughter of the late Senator John McCain. McCain had been growing frustrated with her role on the show, feeling like she was constantly the odd one out as the sacrificial Republican. And then came the viral moment. During a heated debate about Donald Trump, Whoopi cut McCain off mid-sentence and snapped, "Girl, please stop talking." That one-liner exploded online, sparking endless debates. Some thought Whoopi had finally gone too far, while others said she was just keeping the show under control. Either way, it was a turning point.
Was John. Your dad, you may remember when you were a little kid, your dad took care of my Bo. Your dad, when he was a mill aide, worked with me, became friends with Bo. And Bo talked about your dad's courage, not about illness, but about his courage. And look, there's a lot of things happening. Any of you have somebody who is diagnosed with glioblastoma, which is about as bad as it gets.
McCain eventually left The View, calling it a toxic work environment. But Whoopi, she didn't seem fazed at all. And let's be real, this wasn't her first time she found herself in the middle of controversy, and it definitely wouldn't be the last. Back in 2009, reality star Kate Gosselin made an appearance on The View right in the middle of her messy, high-profile divorce. But what was supposed to be a typical talk show interview quickly turned into something that felt more like a courtroom showdown.
But you know what? You don't know what John likes and what he doesn't like.
I don't know what John likes, but I'm going,
And I'm saying that his attitude could be the same on something that you feel is perfectly normal.
And I think that's one of the hardest things, Whoopi. I think one of the hardest things is deciding what my motherly heart is saying, but seeing us now as 2 different entities, that what I am doing, he can give right back.
You know,
it's very difficult.
I'm sorry, I've just been asked to clear this up. He denies sleeping with the babysitter, so he's saying he did not have a physical relationship. I just have to clear it up. I just got it from the...
I'm not here...
Whoopi Goldberg didn't hold back. She went straight for the jugular, accusing Gosselin of breaking her custody agreement and warning her that she could have ended up in jail. Gosselin, clearly caught off guard, tried to explain herself, but Whoopi wasn't letting it slide. She kept pressing, hitting her with one tough question after another. And that's the thing about Whoopi. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. But that blunt attitude, it's also what's landed her in hot water a lot.
I don't think it's just the age, it's the historic unpopularity. He's on par with Jimmy Carter, who was a one-term president.
And yet he's revered now. He's the GOAT. So he's the GOAT before he leaves.
But if I may just press on this, because we had Rachel Maddow on the show, who I think we all respect regardless of our political stripes, and she said Donald Trump could absolutely be reelected.
Yes.
We all agree that he's an existential threat to the republic, so I'm dying to understand how Democrats, despite polling that has bared this out...
Because people are like me and don't believe the polls.
But even without the polling, so take the polling aside, you really think that the oldest man in history is, the oldest presidential candidate in history is the best person to defeat Donald Trump?
You say, because there are a lot of people.
You really do. You don't think there's anyone who could perform better?
I think this country has a moral compass, and they look at a twice impeached, disgraced, 4 times indicted criminal, and I think they say that guy may be old, but that guy's a criminal.
Fast forward to 2015, and another View controversy was making waves. During a discussion about names and job discrimination, co-host Raven-Symoné made an off-the-cuff joke about not hiring someone with a name like Watermelon Drea. She flat out said she wouldn't give a job to someone with a name like that. The backlash was instant, but instead of stepping in to call out the issue, Whoopi seemed to brush it off, only making the situation worse.
Can we take back racist and say discriminatory? Because I think that's a better word.
Yes, it is a much better
That's
word.
a better word, and I am very discriminatory against words like the ones that they were saying in those names. I'm not about to hire you if your name is Watermelon Andrea. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not gonna hire you.
But that's not your fault. That's not their fault.
I would be such a beautiful Conquisha, by the way, I'm letting you guys know. It's like,
no, is that mean? Is that mean?
Whether she's defending controversial statements, going head-to-head with her co-hosts, or grilling guests like a prosecutor, Whoopi Goldberg has become the face of The View's most dramatic moments. One minute, she's the voice of reason. The next, she's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. And with lawsuits piling up and public outrage never too far away, the big question is, how much longer can Whoopi keep dodging the fallout? Is she The View's fearless truth teller or its biggest liability? And could the next controversy finally be the one that takes her down?
While we will expose the fake news when they are fake, we will hold them accountable for their lies and smears of President Trump. I can also assure the American people that they are going to be hearing directly from the leader of the free world. And the press likes to hear that too. That's something that has not happened over the past 4 years. Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
This is why, of course, she's on The View and not working for the most powerful man in the world, because Caroline would wipe the floor with you bitter banshees any day.
Joe Biden knows how to do this.
Yes.
He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean...
He rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just...
But can I mention one thing?
With The View caught in a whirlwind of lawsuits, one name stood out in the legal battle: Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. For years, Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts picked apart every aspect of Meghan's life: her exit from the royal family, her struggles with mental health, and even her personal relationships. The criticism wasn't just casual commentary, it was relentless. A controversial book painted Meghan in an unflattering light, claiming she had trouble fitting into the royal family. According to the book, people questioned whether she was being sincere, accused her of exaggerating her hardships, and even suggested she made up her struggles for sympathy. But Meghan wasn't going to let those accusations slide. She had spent years dealing with media scrutiny, but this time she decided to fight back.
Former working royal Meghan Markle is rebranding herself on the new Netflix lifestyle show with Love Meghan, which has a lot of haters trolling her online. Yeah. See what you think. Watch.
We're not in the pursuit of perfection. Woke us all up. We're in the pursuit of joy. Love is in the details.
I have to do it totally wrong
to get it totally right.
Okay, she's getting a lot of flack. People are saying it looks boring, that she's unrelatable, and that it feels contrived. Of course, these are the haters.
They just want to hate on her.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I'm watching every single episode. I loved the trailer. I loved the promo. When Martha Stewart first started doing this, no one was saying all these things. This has more to do with the fact that people want to hate on Meghan Markle.
Determined to protect her name and everything she had built, she took legal action. In the lawsuit against The View, she accused the show of spreading false claims that damaged her reputation worldwide. Her legal team argued that the reckless commentary had not only hurt her public image, but also caused real harm to her mental health and humanitarian efforts. Meghan had worked hard to build her reputation as a philanthropist and advocate. But now, instead of being seen as a woman navigating the challenges of royal life, she was being labeled as an opportunist. And she wasn't the only public figure pushing back against Whoopi's no-holds-barred approach. This lawsuit wasn't just about Meghan. It was a statement, a warning. Even the most famous people have limits when it comes to being dragged through the mud. So, is this lawsuit Meghan's way of standing up for justice, or is she simply trying to save her reputation? Let's see if others decide to follow her lead. The lawsuit that changed everything. Whoopi Goldberg has always been known for speaking her mind. It's what made her one of the most outspoken hosts on The View, but it's also what landed her in hot water time and time again. For years, her fiery opinions and unfiltered takes have fueled debates and made headlines. Some see her as a fearless truth teller, while others say she's crossed the line more times than they can count. But what happens when controversy turns into something much bigger? Something with real consequences?
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all agree on that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady. anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she does.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly. That's why I say allegedly.
Whoopi has never been afraid to call people out. She's gone after powerful figures without hesitation: Elon Musk, the Trump family, and plenty of others. Her words have always cut deep, and not everyone was willing to take it lying down. And then, one of the biggest names she had criticized decided to fight back. Elon Musk, the billionaire tech mogul who's never been one to stay silent, was ready to hit back harder than ever.
As I believe, Elon Musk is the actual vice president.
You've said that.
And yes, I believe that, because I think that JD Vance, you know, he's kind of an interim, but I believe that Musk is he's the real actual vice president. He's making decisions, he's doing things. So I think, why doesn't he have to give up X with everything he's done? I know we gotta go.
Someone once pointed out that Musk had his hands in almost every major innovation: SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City, and even solar-powered home energy. He was seen as a tech genius, a risk-taker, and a disruptor. But when The View started questioning his business ethics and motives, things took a sharp turn. Elon Musk isn't the type to let things slide, especially when his name and reputation are on the line. When Whoopi Goldberg started questioning his business ethics and hinting that his tech empire was built on hidden agendas, she lit the match that started a full-blown legal battle. Unlike other controversies that faded over time, this one had real consequences. Musk, who has never been shy about taking legal action when needed, didn't hesitate. He hit Goldberg and The View with a defamation lawsuit that sent shockwaves through the media industry. And this wasn't just about Elon's reputation. It was about drawing a line in the sand. Could celebrities and media figures finally be held accountable for unchecked commentary? Was this lawsuit about to change the game? As the legal fight heats up, Goldberg's future and the fate of The View hangs in the balance. The show, which built its brand on controversy, is now facing its biggest scandal yet. This case could redefine how far celebrity talk shows can go before stepping into legal trouble. It also puts Whoopi in a position she's never been in before. The same bold voice that made her a household name can now be the thing that silences her. As this courtroom drama plays out, one thing's for sure: everyone will be watching.
I want to show you a clip of Charlemagne the God. He went on The View. He hates Trump, but listen to the struggle session as it pertains to whether he will vote for Biden or not.
Why not endorse Biden?
Because if I'm sitting here telling my listeners that, you know, you have somebody out there who is a threat to democracy, you have somebody out there who said they want to, you know, suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. You saw this person, you know, try to lead an attempted coup of this country, and I'm telling people that this guy is a threat to democracy. Have you ever read Project 25? There's only 2 candidates out there. So if I'm saying that about this individual, the choice is clear, right? Why do y'all need us to say this if we don't feel comfortable saying it?
No, getting facts out through the media seems to be very difficult.
I feel like I just spewed some facts.
Yes, but we need you to do it on your show.
Well, the reality is I think both candidates are trash. If I think both candidates are trash and I don't feel like, you know, endorsing one, would you rather me endorse an individual or endorse the fact that, hey, we need to go out here and protect democracy?
Donald Trump's legal strike. If things weren't bad enough, The View found itself drowning in lawsuits, 30 to be exact. It was an unexpected legal disaster that rocked the media world. For years, Whoopi and her co-hosts had thrown out accusations left and right, stirring controversy without ever facing real consequences. But this time, the backlash wasn't just from social media. It was coming from some of the most powerful and well-funded names in the country, people who were ready to fight back, and that included Donald Trump. But here's the interesting part. The tension between Trump and Goldberg wasn't always this bad. An old video making the rounds online shows a completely different dynamic, one where the two were actually on good terms. In the footage, Trump is seen laughing and joking with the hosts, even sharing friendly moments with Goldberg. It's a far cry from the bitter rivalry that would later unfold.
I think you missed this part. Take a look.
I want him to show his birth certificate. There's something on that birth certificate that he doesn't like.
Oh my God.
That's a terrible
thing. Just
Whoopi, I'm telling you. Whoopi, I love you. I'm telling you.
I love you too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages.
The question is, why not show it, right? There's something lying on his birth certificate he doesn't want to show.
It's not because he's black.
Let him show. Has nothing to do with that.
But as politics got more heated, so did Whoopi's stance. She went from being a talk show host with strong opinions to becoming one of Trump's most vocal critics. And she didn't hold back. Week after week, she called him out on national TV, accusing him and his family of everything from corruption to conspiracy, painting them as masterminds behind a secretive, power-hungry network. This wasn't just casual criticism. These were full-blown, passionate monologues that chipped away at Trump's reputation, one broadcast at a time. At first, Trump seemed to let it slide. Maybe he saw it as just another case of mainstream media bias, but even he has his limits. Soon, rumors started swirling that he was gearing up to fight back, and not with just words. He was preparing to hit The View where it hurt the most, the courtroom. And then, the whispers turned into headlines. Trump's legal team officially jumped into the mix, ready to take Goldberg and The View to court over what they called years of defamatory attacks. But unlike past controversies, this wasn't going to be another Twitter feud or a war of words on TV. Trump wasn't brushing it off, and he definitely wasn't looking for a quiet settlement. He was out for a legal showdown. And let's be real, this isn't new territory for him. Trump has spent decades using lawsuits both as a defense and a weapon. Whether it's media figures, political rivals, or business opponents, he's never been afraid to take his battles to court. And this time, he was ready to do the same with Whoopi Goldberg. As the lawsuit picked up steam, legal experts started questioning what kind of damage it could do, not just to Whoopi's reputation, but to The View itself. For her, this wasn't just another on-air debate or a scandal that would die down in a few weeks. This one had real consequences. And if Trump had his way, Whoopi was about to learn that taking shots at him meant preparing for a legal fight that could change everything. Now, with the lawsuit in motion, everyone's watching the courtroom, waiting to see just how far Trump is willing to go to make an example out of one of his most vocal critics. Is this finally the battle Whoopi can't talk her way out of? With Trump and other big names gearing up to take The View down, just how far will this fight go? The View's collapse. One by one, Hollywood elites, billionaires, and music icons turned their backs on The View. The show, once seen as an unstoppable force in daytime TV, was now crumbling under a mountain of lawsuits. Every case exposed the same pattern: reckless accusations and unchecked opinions coming back to haunt them. And leading the charge, some of the biggest names in entertainment. Chris Pratt, the beloved Hollywood star, known for his faith and family-friendly persona, had finally had enough. Goldberg had openly mocked his religious beliefs, hinting that they were nothing more than a political smokescreen. Normally, Pratt stayed out of controversies, but this time, he wasn't letting it slide. His lawsuit wasn't just about defending himself. It was about exposing how The View had built a reputation for attacking public figures with no real evidence. But he wasn't the only one pushing back. Taylor Swift, one of the most powerful women in music, was also stepping into the fight. The co-hosts of The View had repeatedly hinted that Swift wasn't in her relationships for love, but for publicity. They suggested she was using her romance with Travis Kelce to fuel her music career at the expense of genuine connections. For years, Swift had ignored rumors like these from the tabloids, but this time, she wasn't staying silent. Backed by a team of top lawyers and one of the most loyal fan bases in the world, yeah, trust me, you wouldn't want to mess with them, she filed a lawsuit against The View. Her argument? Their reckless words weren't just gossip. They were feeding harmful stereotypes about women in power. And just like that, The View found itself up against some of the biggest names in the industry. Mark Cuban, billionaire investor and one of the most outspoken voices in business, soon found himself caught in the storm. Whoopi Goldberg took aim at him, accusing him of shady financial dealings and suggesting he was manipulating the markets for personal gain. But Cuban wasn't about to take that lying down. Known for being just as outspoken as Whoopi, he fired back with a lawsuit. One that didn't just defend his name, but also exposed The View's long history of making bold claims without checking the facts. And he had the receipts. With financial experts backing his case, Cuban's lawsuit added even more weight to the growing argument that The View had crossed the line from talk show to reckless journalism. But the biggest shocker? It didn't come from a billionaire or a politician. It came from one of the most respected figures in media, Oprah Winfrey. At one point, Oprah and Whoopi had been on good terms, but even she had her breaking point. For a while, Oprah stayed quiet, refusing to get involved in the chaos. But when The View's host started dismissing her decades of philanthropy as nothing more than an act, that was it. She had enough. Oprah didn't take legal action, but she didn't need to. Her public condemnation of the show sent shockwaves through the industry. Because if Oprah, the queen of media, was turning her back on The View, then maybe it was really over. The fall of a media giant. As the lawsuits piled up, the fallout became impossible to ignore. Advertisers jumped ship, terrified of being associated with a sinking brand. Ratings took a nosedive. Even The View's most loyal fans started questioning whether the show had finally gone too far. And then rumors started swirling about the ultimate power move. Donald Trump, someone Whoopi had taken shots at for years, was watching closely. With The View on the brink of collapse, many believed he saw the perfect moment to strike. Would he be the one to shut it down for good? After 30-plus lawsuits and a reputation in shambles, was this finally the end of The View? What do you think? Can they survive this? Or is this the final chapter? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.